Riyad as-Salihin is a selection of hadith compiled by Imam Yahya ibn Sharaf an-Nawawi. It is one of the most widely known and read books of hadith all over the world, containing approximately 1,900 carefully chosen hadith on ethics, manners, worship, knowledge, and other topics compiled from the 6 books of hadith. It is practical and accessible to Muslims of all levels. The Book of Visiting the Sick. Chapter: The Ruling of Crying and Wailing Over a Dead Person. Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, the Messenger of Allah visited Sa'd bin Ubadah during his illness. He was accompanied by Abdurrahman bin Auf, Sa'd bin Abu Waqqas and Abdullah bin Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with them. The Messenger of Allah began to weep. When his companions saw this, their tears also started flowing. He said, "Do you not hear? Allah does not punish for the shedding of tears or the grief of the heart, but punishes or bestows mercy for the utterances of this," and he pointed to his tongue. Usama bin Zaid, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a grandson, child of the daughter of the Messenger of Allah, was presented to him while the child was at his last breath. Tears began to flow from the eyes of the Messenger of Allah. Sa'd said to him, "What is this, O Messenger of Allah?" He said, "It is mercy which Allah has placed in the hearts of his slaves. Allah bestows his mercy on the merciful among his slaves." Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah came to his son Ibrahim, may Allah be pleased with him, when he was breathing his last. The eyes of the Messenger of Allah began shedding tears. Abdurrahman bin Auf, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "O Messenger of Allah, you too weep?" He said, "O Ibn Auf, it is mercy." Then he began to weep and said, "The eyes are shedding tears and the heart is grieved, and we will not say except what pleases our Rabb. O Ibrahim, indeed we are grieved by your departure." Chapter: Prohibition of Disclosing the Physical Defects of the Deceased. Abu Rafi Aslam, may Allah be pleased with him, the freed slave of the Messenger of Allah, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, "He who washes a dead body and conceals what he notices of physical defects, he will be forgiven 40 times. Chapter: Participation in Funeral Prayer and Procession and the Dislike of Women Participating in the Funeral Procession. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, "Whoever follows the funeral procession and offers the funeral prayer for it, will get a reward equal to 1 qirat, and whoever attends it till burial, will get a reward equal to 2 qirat. It was asked, "What are 2 qirat?" He replied, "Equal to 2 huge mountains." Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, "Whosoever attends the funeral of a Muslim believing and hoping for the reward from Allah and remains with it until the prayer is offered over it and the burial is completed, he will return with a reward of 2 qirat, each qirat is equivalent to Mount Uhud, and whosoever offers his prayer over it and returns before its burial, he will come back with 1 qirat. Aishwa, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, "We, womenfolk, were prohibited from accompanying a funeral procession, but we were not compelled not to do so." Chapter: Excellence of Participation in Funeral Prayers in Large Numbers and Formation of 3 rows or more. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, "If a group of Muslims numbering 100 perform funeral prayer over a dead person, and all of them ask Allah's forgiveness for him, their prayer for him will be accepted." Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, "If a Muslim dies and 40 people, who do not associate anything with Allah in worship, participate in the funeral prayer over him, Allah will accept their intercession for him." Marthad bin Abdullah al-Yazni reported, when Malik bin Hubayra, may Allah be pleased with him, offered a funeral prayer and found a small number of participants, he would divide them into 3 rows and would say that the Messenger of Allah said, "If 3 rows of men offer funeral prayer over anyone, his entry into Jannah will become certain." Chapter: Supplications in Funeral Prayers. Abu Abdurrahman Auf bin Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah offered a funeral prayer and I memorized his supplication. He prayed, "Allahumma fir lahu, warhamhu, wa afihi, wa fu enhu, wa akrim nusulahu, wa wasi mudkalahu, wa salubil my wathili wal barati, wa nakihi min al kataya, kamanak hatath thubal abadamin hadanasi, wa abdul hudaran kairan min darihi, wa alan kairan min alihi, wa zayan kairan min zajihi, wa adkilhul janata, wa ihu min adhabal kabri, wa min adhaban nar. If the dead person is a woman, one should change the ending of certain words in this supplication from hu to ha. O Allah, forgive him, bestow mercy upon him, pardon him, accord him a noble provision and make his grave spacious, wash him with water, snow and hail, purify him from sins as you have purified the white garment from soiling, give him a better abode in place of his present one, and a better family in exchange of his present one, and a better spouse in place of his present wife, admit him to Jannah and protect from the trial in the grave and punishment in the hell. After hearing this supplication of the Messenger of Allah, Abu Abdurrahman Auf bin Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, said, I wished I had been that dead man. Abu Hurairah, Abu Qatada, and Abu Ibrahim al-Ash'ari, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, the Prophet offered a funeral prayer and said, Allahumma firli hayina wa mayyitina, wa sigirina wa kabirina, wa dakarina wa anthana, wa shayadina wa gaibina. Allahumma man ahyaytahu minna, fa hayyihi alal Islam, wa man ta'ifetahu minna, fatawafahu alal iman. Allahumma la tarimna irahu, wa la taftana ba'dahu. O Allah, forgive our living and our dead, our present and our absent, our young and our old, our male and our female. O Allah, whosoever of us you keep alive, keep him alive, faithful to Islam, and whosoever of us you cause to die, let him die having Iman. O Allah, do not deprive us of our reward, for being patient, and do not subject us to trials after his death. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I heard the Messenger of Allah, saying, when you pray over the dead, make a sincere supplication for him. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet supplicated in course of funeral prayer, Allahumma anta rabba, wa anta khalaqtaha, wa anta hadaytaha lil Islam, wa anta kabadta ruhaha, wa anta alamu by siraha wa ilana ayesha, janakashu fa'ilahu. If the dead person is a man, or laha if the dead person is a woman, fafir lahu, or laha, if it is a woman, O Allah, you are its Rabb, you created it, you guided it to Islam, you have taken its life back and you know best its inside and outer condition. We have come as intercessors, so forgive him. Waithila bin al-Aska, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah led the funeral prayer of a Muslim man in our presence, and I heard him saying Allahumma ina, name of the dead person, fi damatika wa abli jawarika, fakihi fitnatal kabri, wa adhaban nari, wa anda alil wafi wal hamdi, Allahumma fafir lahu warhamhu, inaka antal ghafurur rahim. If the dead person is a woman, one can change who in some words here with ha. O Allah, so-and-so son of so-and-so, is in your protection and inside the surroundings of your refuge. Safeguard him from the trial of the grave and the punishment of the hell. You keep your promise and you deserve to be praised. O Allah, forgive him and be merciful to him. Indeed, you are the forgiving, the merciful. Abdullah bin Abu Ifa, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, while offering the funeral prayer of one of his daughters, he recited 4 takbir, and after the 4th takbir he continued standing for a time equal to an interval between 2 takbir, praying for her and seeking Allah's forgiveness for her. Then he said, the Messenger of Allah used to do so. Another narration is, he, Abdullah, recited 4 takbir and remained standing in prayer for some time till we thought that he would recite the 5th takbir. Then he gave salam on the right and on the left. When he turned aside, we asked him about it. He replied, I would add nothing to what I saw the Messenger of Allah doing, or he said, the Messenger of Allah used to do so. Chapter, Haste in Burial. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I heard the Prophet saying, hurry up with the dead body, for its burial, for if it is pious, you are speeding it to goodness, and if it is otherwise, you are laying an evil off your necks. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet said, when a dead body is placed on a bier and men carry it on their shoulders, if he was a pious man, it corpse, says, "Take me in haste." But if he was not righteous, it says to its bearers, "Woe to it! Where are you taking it?" Everything except man hears its voice. Had a human being heard its voice, he would have surely fallen into swoon. Chapter about speedy repayment of the debts of a deceased person and preparation of burial. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet said, "The soul of the deceased believer remains pending on account of the debt till the debt, is repaid." Hussein bin Wawa, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, when Talha bin al-Bara, may Allah be pleased with him, fell ill, the Prophet came to visit him and said, "Verily, I think that Talha is about to die. So inform me when he is dead and make haste in burying him. Indeed, it is improper for the corpse of a Muslim to be kept lying unburied among his family members." Chapter, Admonition beside the grave. Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, we were accompanying a funeral procession in Baqi al-Gharqad, graveyard in Al-Madinah, when the Messenger of Allah proceeded towards us and sat down. We sat around him. He had a small stick in his hand. He was bending down his head and scraping the ground with the stick. He said, "There is none among you but has a place assigned for him either in the Jannah or in the hell." The companions said, "O Messenger of Allah, should we not depend upon what has been written for us, and give up doing good deeds?" The Messenger of Allah said, "Carry on doing good deeds. Everyone will find it easy to do such deeds, as will lead him to his destined place, for which he has been created." Chapter, Supplication for the deceased after his burial. Abu Amr, also called Abu Abdullah and also Abu Layla, from Uthman bin Affan, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, after the burial of a dead man, the Prophet would stand by the grave and say, "Ask Allah to forgive your brother and supplicate for him for steadfastness because he is being questioned about his deeds now." Amr bin Alas, may Allah be pleased with him, used to say, "When you have buried me, keep standing near my grave till, for the time it takes to, a camel is slaughtered and its meat is distributed, so that I may feel your nearness and know what to reply to the angels sent by my Rabb." Chapter, Charity on behalf of the deceased and praying for him. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, a man said to the Prophet, "My mother has died suddenly. I think that if she were able to talk, alive, she would have given in sadaqah, charity. So, if I give sadaqah now on her behalf, will she get the reward?" The Messenger of Allah said, "Yes, she will be rewarded for that." Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, "When a man dies, his deeds come to an end, except for three: a continuous charity, knowledge by which people derive benefit, pious son who prays for him." Chapter, Praising the deceased. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, some companions happened to pass by a funeral procession, and they praised him, the deceased. The Prophet said, "He will certainly enter it." Then they passed by another funeral procession and they spoke ill of the deceased. The Prophet said, "He will certainly enter it." Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "O Messenger of Allah, what do you mean by he will certainly enter it?" He replied, "You praise the first person, so he will enter Jannah, and you spoke ill of the second person, so he will enter hell. You are Allah's witnesses on earth." Abdullah Aswad, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I came to Al-Madinah, and while I was sitting beside Umar bin al-Khattab, a funeral procession passed by. The people praised the deceased, and Umar bin al-Khattab said, "He will certainly enter it." Then another funeral procession passed by and the people praised the deceased. Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "He will certainly enter it." A third funeral procession passed by and the people spoke ill of the deceased. He said, "He will certainly enter it." I, Abdullah Aswad, asked, "O Amir al-Mu'minin, i.e., leader of the believers, what do you mean by he will certainly enter it?" He replied, "I said the same as was said by the Prophet." He said, "If 4 persons testify the righteousness of a Muslim, Allah will grant him Jannah." We asked, "If 3 persons testify his righteousness?" He replied, "Even 3." Then we asked, "If 2?" He replied, Even 2. We did not ask him, regarding the testimony, of one. Chapter, Superiority of one who is bereaved of his infants. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah, said, any Muslim who loses 3 children before they reach the age of maturity, will be granted Jannah by Allah, the Exalted, out of His mercy for them. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah, said, a Muslim whose 3 children die, in infancy, will not be touched by the fire of hell, except for the fulfillment of Allah's oath. Allah's oath here refers to his ayah, there is not one of you but will cross over it, hell. 19:71. And the crossing will be across the bridge set over the hell. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a woman came to the Messenger of Allah, and said, O Messenger of Allah, only men benefit from your talks, so please fix a day for us, to teach us the knowledge which Allah has taught you. The Messenger of Allah fixed a day and directed them to assemble. When they gathered, the Prophet went to them and taught them what Allah had taught him. He then said, any woman of you whose 3 children die, in infancy, they will be a guard for her against fire of hell. One of the women asked, what if she loses 2? The Messenger of Allah replied, even 2. Chapter, Weeping while passing by the graves of the Dhalimin. Narrated Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, when the Messenger of Allah and his companions reached Al-Hijr, the dwellings of the Thamud people, he admonished his companions, saying, do not pass by these people who are being tormented, without weeping, lest the punishment should befall you as it had befallen them.